Good morning. This is John Nilsson-Wright. I'm here at Korea University. Delighted to have this opportunity to talk to you today about current geopolitical issues and Korea's role and responsibility in addressing those challenges. It seems to me when we think about the world today, there are a number of challenges that liberal democracies face. On the one hand, the growing threat from authoritarian governments, which we've seen emboldened as a result of the recent summit in Beijing. China, Russia, North Korea, Iran are all feeling, I think, a sense of empowerment and that the momentum of history is on their side. At the same time, the United States, under the presidency of Donald Trump, is retreating from some of its traditional global responsibilities, and particularly when it comes to the question of values, democracy, human rights. The United States seems to be ceding ground to some of those authoritarian rivals. So the challenge for countries like South Korea or my own country, the United Kingdom, is how best to confront the challenge of authoritarian governments, work cooperatively with the United States, and address what is, I think, another important third challenge that countries across the world are facing, which is the growth of populist politics. Politics at the grassroots is changing. Voters seem to be becoming more angry, more resentful of their traditional governments. They perceive, rightly or wrongly, national governments as being in the thrall to global elites. And as a result, we're seeing a rise of a new politics of intolerance. So that creates a particular challenge for policymakers and politicians and for academics looking at these multiple problems, which is how do they maintain the integrity of their democratic system of government? How do they maintain democratic norms and values? South Korea, of course, has gone through a big political change recently on the back of the declaration of martial law last December and the impeachment scandal that engulfed the country. But it seems to me that the current government of South Korea has been able to stabilize politics and to create a consensus on the part of its own voters that they are managing both the domestic and the global in a way that is consistent with South Korean values and universal values. And I think there's a lot to be learnt from the Korean experience in that respect. My own country, the United Kingdom, is working both on the foreign policy front and domestically to try and manage those challenges. But I think it's fair to say that we are, as historians like to say, at an inflection point, at a turning point that is not dissimilar to the type of challenges that the world faced at the end of World War II in 1945. So the onus is really on how best to work together to maintain the integrity of liberal democratic norms, to maintain security in the face of provocations from Russia and other countries, not just in Europe, of course, but we also have the uncertainty in East Asia surrounding territorial disputes. And at the same time, when the United States seems to be retreating from its traditional benign hegemonic role, how best to maintain the integrity of the international system. Thank you.